if you have created the defect, I told to report 3 to 5 defects, right? 2 or 3 UI issues, one on security and the one on the performance. How many of you have listed the defects in a proper template? Share it in the group, WhatsApp group. Here you can show it to me offline. Not done? No. Work on it now, everyone. At least one defect you have to create, either in the laptop, notepad, paper, whatever it is. Try to do it. Meanwhile, I'll try to upload some PDF documents for you. You did? Okay. Whoever has logged in online, guys can share it in the WhatsApp group also, no issues. In the offline, yeah. How does the defect template looks like? It has summary or title, description, steps to reproduce, expected results, actual results, then some screenshots or logs, severity, priority, test environment, build. These are some of the details which we have to put for a defect. Still, you can mention test environment, then build number, operating system. These are the things you have to fill when you are trying to report a defect. Okay. create a defect for one issue is alignment issue, text alignment issue. The second one is login is taking more time for the ultramutual.com. ultramutual.com is there. The issue is login takes a lot of time. Login takes 2 minutes instead of 10 seconds. You need to create a defect. How do you create? These are the fields which you have to include. Try to create now. This is a defect. This is a defect for default credentials. Okay. You need to create a defect for performance issue or UI alignment issue. All the materials are here. Freshers 23. Under documents, we have manual testing class 1. Last 5 minutes. Very important how to create a defect. If you have missed the previous sessions, go through the videos. Okay. What is the title you give for login taking more time? Login to the application takes 2 minutes. That is the title you can give. Description, you can mention some description like login to any kind of web application usually has to take 5 to 10 seconds. But this application is taking 2 minutes. This will cause some kind of performance issue and usability issues for the end users. That is the description. Next, steps to reproduce. What steps do you provide? First, launch ultramutual.com. Okay, launch the application. Click on the sign in link. Provide username and password in the username as some username, valid username. Just in the username field, provide password as demo1234 in the password field. Then click on submit button. Expected results. Login should take 5 to 10 seconds. Actual results what? Login is taking 2 minutes. So there is some difference between expected and actual. So that is a defect. Screenshots are logs. You just provide the login screenshot. Then severity and priority. What is the severity? Functionality is affected here. We give high as a severity. Priority also high. Okay. Then test environment is QA environment like that. Build number you just ignore for now. Operating system, any operating system. That's it. These are the details you have to provide. Right now, list down. Once we work on this defect creation, we'll work on the defect lifecycle. Last row. You guys can come this side. I'll be up here. Okay, fine. From next time onwards, sit in the front. Okay. In fact, you have to report the defect, and other person should understand the defect. How do you report the defect? Entire testing consists of test case writing, test case execution, reporting the defect. That's it. That's it. I will copy this one. It's going to be this letter. Done. Last 5 minutes. We'll move on to the defect life cycle. How many of you have done that? Online, offline. You need to create a defect. Okay. Very important. Throughout entire testing life cycle consists of reporting the defect. When you get a job as a software tester, your work is test and execute the test cases, mark it as pass or fail. In case if it is failing, then only we'll create a report defect. Okay, fine. Let me create for you. Performance issue, right? This is security, performance, or functionality. First is title or summary. Log into the application takes more time. You can mention like 2 minutes. Then description. Web applications. Usually takes 5 to 10 seconds for login. So it is recommended for this standard. Current application is taking 2 minutes, not 2 minutes, 4 minutes, which is not acceptable. Okay, that is the description. Then steps to reproduce. Before you give steps to reproduce, you need to give severity. Functionality is impacted, yes. So I give as high. What is the priority? Priority is also like it is a blocking issue. This is also high. Steps to reproduce means what are the steps you follow to reproduce this issue. First step, let me copy from this. Launch ultramutual.com, click on sign in button, provide valid credentials for the username and password field like this, and check the login duration. That's it, right? Expected result. Login should be successful and it should not take more than 2 minutes. More than 2 minutes or seconds or minutes. 10 seconds, right? More than 15 seconds. 15 seconds is the max. Actual results. What is that you guys are observing? Login is taking 4 minutes. That's it. This is how you need to report a defect. You guys can either take a screenshot or take a picture of this. Proof of concept, we missed, right? Proof of concept, you need to take the screenshot of the login page. Anyhow, this video is getting recorded. You pause the video at that time and then take a screenshot from mobile. Yes. We'll study defect life cycle today. So with defect life cycle, majority of the concepts would have been covered in software testing. Okay. Tell me software development life cycle, everyone. Plan. Requirement gathering analysis. Then next comes up design, development, testing, deployment, then support and maintenance. Someone has to explain the phases of SDLC and what do we do in each and every phase. Who wants to explain this? I'll give the permissions to speak. Anyone interested to tell at least one sentence for each phase? Who wants to explain? No one. Okay, two phases. You can explain any of the two phases, but independently you should answer, not like in a group. I'll give you 2 minutes of time. Try to list down 2 sentences or 1 sentence for each phase. Planning is just an idea. Okay. Mention these points then. Just an idea what you want to implement. Requirement gathering and analysis. We'll check about the feasibility, whether it can be done or not. Then cost, resources, skills, reliable, feasibility we studied, budget, cost or budget, and timelines. All these things we discuss in requirement gathering and analysis. Design, high level design of the entire application we try to put in designing phase. In development phase, we try to develop the code for that application. Develop the code or software program. Testing phase, we test the application. That's it. We can do manual testing or functional testing. We can do performance testing and security testing. What else? What are the other types of testings? Usability. All these testings are done in the testing phase. Deployment means production deployment. Prod, where we give the application to the customers, real customers. This is called deployment. So, till testing phase, it is with us. The entire application is with us, means with the testers and developers. Once it goes to the deployment, it means that the application is in the production live environment. This is a live environment. Okay. That is also called production. And on the left hand side, whatever you see, this is called non-production or pre-production. Production environment. and pre-production environment. We have to fix the defect at any cost. Okay. Cost of the defect will be high in production or pre-production. What is the answer? In which phase in the cost of the defect will be high compared to prod and pre-prod?
Production.
Production. Yes. The reason is, as you know, like if you can find some quality issues in a vehicle during the manufacturing phase, we can fix that issues. The moment it goes to the customers, we need to recall them or ask them to come back. Then you replace the battery, clutch, airbags. It is going to cost more. Cost of the defect is more in production compared to pre-production. Cost of the defect is more in designing phase or testing phase. What is the answer? Now design versus testing phase. Cost of the defect will be more in design or testing. Design itself is good, then you will not get any defects. No need to spend time and money. That's it, right? If a design is not good, then definitely it will introduce some defects to the testing phase. Okay. That's the reason as and then you move towards right in development life cycle, the cost of the defect increases. Okay. Think like our application has 5 features. Some website we have 5 features and 5 developers are working on that. 5 developers are working on these 5 features. Architect will do the designing part. Designing part is done by the architect. Development is done by the developers. Simple. 5 developers are there. 5 developers, each one is working on one module. 5 modules. Or you can consider 10 modules are there. All 5 of them are sharing those modules. Modules means subparts. What do? They try to develop the code, and that once the code development is done, it will generate the build files or files. These files you need to put in some server that is called development environment. Development environment. Assume like we are trying to build some bank. This environment will be dev.bank.com. Before they give this application to the testers, they test the application in this environment. Once it is successful and if it is working properly, then we have to push those files. That is called deployment testing environment. This is one more server, test.bank.com. test1.bank.com, test2.bank.com. And the actual website is bank.com, which is available to the real customers. Okay, that's it, right? When you want to drive a new car or you are just learning it, first you try with some dummy cars which are meant for test. Then only you get on to the real cars or like new cars. The same thing here. Whenever you are trying to develop some application, first you test in the development environment, then in the test environment. In test environment, if there are no defects, then only we push those files to the deployment. Okay. Always remember, development of the code is by the developers. Fixing of the defects is by the developers. Testing is from the testers in the testing phase. Okay. When you report some issues, the defect will go through some different states, right? Say there is some defect. Clutch. In case of non-IT application, assume like brakes are not working properly, and it is still in the pre-production. Pre-production means you can consider like factory. Okay, development factory. They are trying to develop the clutch brakes. They found the defect. Do they fix it immediately on the next day in all the 10,000 cars? Or how long it takes? What do you think in general? There is an issue with the clutch and brake. So these people, the defect is reported by the quality team. Quality team, they drive the vehicle and then they'll see if there are any issues. The moment they report the issue, developers here in this case, maybe like we can call it like technicians. Here, these people we cannot call it like developers, we call it like technicians. For fixing, they'll take a lot of time. It is not like a one-day fix. First, they'll see what is the problem, what is the root cause of that defect. Then, do they fix in all 10,000 cars at a time, or first they'll fix in few cars, check it, and then implement that change in all the other cars? One car or 10,000 cars at a time. Right? So, first, what they do is they test it in one car, whatever is the fix they are trying to do. Then again, they'll drive that car, see whether it is working or not. Then again, they'll make that change for 5 to 10 cars. Again, they'll test it. Once they feel like, okay, everything is perfect, then they deploy the change. Deploying the change in a sense, they make that change in all the cars. This is how the development process, fixing process will happen. The same thing in IT applications. If you report a defect, first developers will check whether it is a defect or not, software defect. And they try in development environment. Their environment they'll try. After they try that scenario, in case if they are able to see that issue, they'll fix it. What in case if they are not able to see that issue? You would have seen even your vehicles. Your brakes are not working for your bike. You took it to the technician. Then he also drives that bike. He's not able to find any kind of issues. Basically, technician is not able to reproduce that issue. Why? What is the reason? Anyone? As a customer, you are able to see that issue. The moment you took it to the technician or the manufacturing unit, people, support team, they are not able to find the issue. What is the reason? Anyone? What is the possible reason? You can guess. Car manufacturing guys, they'll say like, okay, you get a mileage of 25 kilometers per liter. You took the car and you're able to see, some people are able to see 20, some people are able to see only 40. What is the reason? So it depends on the test environment. One guy is driving on the highway, he is able to see 25. Other guy is driving in the traffic, he is able to see 14 or 12. So they cannot climb that mileage. Same thing here. Whenever you test some application, test environment may vary. I would have tested the application with Internet Explorer of older version. But developers, they say like only Chrome is supported. That's it. So depending on that, you need to see like why it is not reproducible. That's the reason you need to give all these details when you report a defect. Okay. Then there is a process. Like the moment you report the defect, when will they consider it? What is the change? What is the state? It gets changed. That is considered in the defect life cycle. We'll study this defect life cycle now. Okay. We have a development team, testing team. Is it like only one defect testers will report? Nothing like that. They can report n number of defects. Out of, we have 5 developers, right? Testing team, think 4 members are there. When do you call a tester is a very good, I mean to say a very efficient tester or a good tester? He has to report more defects or less defects? More defects. Okay, then only you call it like a good tester. If you are missing the defects, then it means like you don't know how to perform test. For the developer, when do you call like a good developer? he has to introduce more defects or less defects. He is writing the code. He should not introduce defects. Less number of defects should be reported. Testers always will try to find defects. Developers, they always try to develop the program and they'll ensure like less number of defects are introduced. So the objective of tester basically the difference between tester and developer is developers will not have that objective of finding defects. Okay, there's a reason testers are given more priority. Some of the interview questions are there. I'll share it in the document. Share drive. Go through those interview questions. Whatever I'm telling you now, that can be split into interview questions and answers. We'll go through the defect life cycle now. Okay. I am a tester. I found one defect. So I need to report in a tool. Some of the defect tracking tools are Bugzilla, Jira, even QC also can be used for reporting the defect. So when you report a defect, you know, like what are the fields you have to give. Already we discussed the defect template. Now defect states. The moment you report the defect, it will be unconfirmed. Unconfirmed means you reported the defect, but we don't know whether it is really a defect or not, right? Sometimes by mistake, some settings were changed and then you reported the defect. That is also possible. So what happens is some discussion will happen within the development team and testing team, basically leads and managers, development and testing leads and managers. They'll discuss all these defects and they'll see whether it is a proper defect or not. That process is called bug scrub. Bug scrub means we will check whether it is a valid defect or not. There are 5 testing team members are there. One of the test member is a fresher. He might not be having that much knowledge, right? There are chances that he will report a defect which is not valid. Like that, they cross-check this entire group. And if it is a valid defect, they move it to new defect. New means, yes, this is a valid defect. From this new, we'll go to the assigned. Assigned means the defect is valid, but still no one are working on that. This defect has to be assigned to some developers. Assigned in the sense the developer is working on fixing that defect. Once it is assigned, developer has to fix that. The next phase will be resolved. Resolve means yes, he has fixed it or he has deferred it. There will be a lot of states on that. We'll go through that now. Okay. Very important software development life cycle, bug life cycle, testing life cycle. Okay. I have already copied these materials in the shared drive. Go through it. First, it will be unconfirmed, which means that tester reported the defect, but that needs to be discussed. This is the answer we need to give if what is meant by unconfirmed. Next one, new. Okay, they have discussed it and this is a valid defect. So we move the defect status to new in the Jira tool or Bugzilla. The next one is assigned. Assigned means some developer is already taken that and he is trying to fix that defect. Resolved. Are we recording? Okay. Resolved. Resolved means, okay, developer has been assigned for the defect. He worked on that for 4 days and finally fixed that defect. So when developers fix it, testing team again, do they need to check it or not? They have to test it before we give that product or the application to the customers. We need to check whether the defect is fixed or not. So they can mark it as resolved, but it can be fixed or it can be duplicate. I reported the defect as a tester. There is one more person in the team. He is also a tester. He also reported the same issue. Then what will happen? Basically duplicate, right? Who has to give an priority? Who has to give an preference? One person reported the defect today, saying like login is taking more time. Today morning 10 o'clock, one person is reported, tester 1. Tester 2 reported the same issue in the afternoon 2 p.m. Who has to be given preference, 10 a.m. or 2 p.m.? 10 a.m. or 2 p.m.? Tester 1 reported at 10 a.m. morning. Tester 2 reported at 2 p.m. Same defect. Which one is a valid defect? 10 a.m. Whoever finds the defect, that is a valid. If you are reporting it the same defect again after one more time, then like you don't know whether you have seen that defect or reported, or even if you have found it separately, you need to check in this defect tracking tool like Quality Center Jira whether that issue is there or not. You can search with okay, time is taking more time, not with the terms. You need to see whether that similar defect exists or not. If it is already existed, confirm with tester 1, okay, have you reported this issue? If he says yes, okay, same issue, then I should not report. If you are still reporting it, the second person's defect will go as a duplicate. So as a tester, you should avoid duplicates. Okay. So these are the possible states from resolved. Resolutions. Resolved fixed means developer fixed that issue. If the developer marks it as resolved duplicate means your defect is reported as a duplicate of someone else's issue. Resolved as design. Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of resolved as design? As per the design, in the sense, you are testing some application and they have given some logo or some kind of color. You felt like that is an issue, but as per the architecture, they decided like it has to be like that. That is as per the design, we call it. Okay. Resolved cannot reproduce. What is the resolution cannot reproduce means? Tester reported that issue. Okay. And developer, he is not able to find that issue in his environment. I reported in test.bank.com. Okay, then as a developer, I'm trying to check in dev.bank.com. I don't find that issue. What is the problem? There is some kind of software mismatch, environment mismatch is there. So we need to have similar environment to confirm that. That is called cannot reproduce. The other one is will not fix. What is meant by resolve will not fix? Developer marked it as resolve will not fix. Resolve is the state, will not fix is the resolution. Means what did you conclude with will not fix? You purchased a car of Alto car for 5 lakhs and you are able to see that its top speed is 130, it is coming. 130 is still good. You are going and giving a complaint to the car owner or manufacturing owner or dealer, reporting a defect. It is not going beyond 200 speed. Okay. What does the manufacturer or dealer will tell? First floor. So developers, what do? We cannot fix that. So that is not a defect. Okay, it is not as per the design also. As per the specifications, maximum speed is 120 only. Okay, still you are able to get 130. Same thing in applications. If you are reporting some defect, which is not a valid defect, that is a defect, but it is beyond our requirements. Okay, that is called will not fix resolution. Fixed, cannot reproduce, duplicate, deferred. And one more is there, deferred. What is the resolution deferred means? Anyone? What is the meaning of defer? Online? What is it? What do you mean by deferring? General meaning. Defer means postpone. Okay. You reported a valid defect. Okay. But we don't have the budget, or we don't have the skills, we don't have the time to fix that defect. Then it is a valid, but we are not ready to fix that now. We will fix it after 5 months, 10 months, like that. That is called deferred. You would have seen this kind of issues also. Say that your car met with accident and you want to get it fixed, but it's very small accident. If you want to claim the insurance just for 1,000 rupees, 1,000 rupees of expenses, if you are claiming, your claim will be one claim count will be reduced, right? So we don't go for the claim. Same thing for the applications. If it doesn't make sense to fix that now, we'll fix it after 4 months, 5 months, after 2 or 3 releases. That is called deferred, postpone. These are the possible states with respect to the resolved, fixed, resolved, can't reproduce, resolved, duplicate. These states will be given by the developers. Resolved state and resolution as this. Then it goes to the tester. Tester has to verify whatever he is saying. Resolved. Okay, tester will check. Okay, he marked it as fixed. I'll re-verify. If it is fixed, I mark it as fixed. If it is not fixed, I am testing it. I still find that issue. What should I do? That defect, should I close it? Defect. This guy has fixed that, saying like, okay, developer told login is taking now only 10 seconds. I made the change. Now it is not taking 4 minutes. It just takes 10 seconds. Again, I am testing that application. Again, I found that it took 3 minutes. So do you close that defect or not? Close or open? You reported one issue. They claim that they have fixed it, but you are not able to see that change. Again, you go and give it, right? So that's called reopen. Reopen the defect because they didn't fix it. Okay. That's it. This is all about defect life cycle. It's tough or easy? Basically, by seeing at the defect status, state and resolution, we should find out whether what state it is. I verified it and it is fixed. I mark it as verified fixed. It means tester verified that fix. And finally, during the release, we close all these defects. Now tell me, I'll give you some states. You have to tell the meaning of that state. The current state of the defect is resolved duplicate. What does it mean? I'll say like Shanmugh reported a defect. Developer marked it as resolved duplicate. What does it mean? That defect has been reported by someone else. You reported the duplicate one. Okay. One more defect is in the state of new. What does it mean? One tester reported a defect and its state is new. For new, we don't get any resolution. Even assigned also no resolution. Only for resolved, verified and closed, we get the resolution. If some defect is in the new state, what does it mean? Yeah, of course, defect is new. What is the actual meaning of that? Tester reported the defect and it is a valid defect, but still no developers are working on it. That's it, right? Then what is meant by assigned? Assigned state means what? Online? Anyone wants to answer this? First of all, if it is in the assigned state, is the defect valid? Yes or no? Is it assigned to the developer? Yes or no? That's it. The answer is also there in the question. You just need to understand the terms. Okay. One of the defect is marked as resolved deferred. What does it mean? The fixing of the defect is postponed to the next release or after next to next release. One of the defect is in unconfirmed. What does it mean? Unconfirmed means what? Still, none of the managers or leads are not discussed that defect. We just reported the defect that needs to be discussed to confirm whether it is a valid defect or not. Okay. What is the state reopened? Okay, now I'll give you 20 seconds. All of you has to tell what is the meaning of reopened state. Everyone has to tell. Okay. Who wants to go first? What is meant by reopened? Tell. Can you come again? If the bug is
not valid, then
no, bug is valid. Bug is valid, right? Developer claims the defect is fixed, but tester, when he tested it, that issue is still there. So we reopened. The reopened means tester verified the defect which is marked as fixed, and also he observed that issue still exists. That's it, right? If the issue is still existing and if the developer has marked as resolved fixed, then we get into the reopened state. That's it. What is the difference between retesting and regression testing? Retesting means we check that defect is fixed or not. That's it. For example, login is taking more time. Again, you want to retest it. You provide username and password and click on submit. Check whether it is taking 10 seconds or 4 minutes. That is called retesting. Regression testing means you need to test around that functionality, around that bug fix. What is the functionality there? Login or transfer funds? Login. So not only about login to application and time duration, you need to test for valid username, valid password, invalid username, invalid password, special characters, blank passwords. So all the scenarios around login we have to test. So testing around that bug fix or around that work bug environment, that is called regression testing. Okay. So here the bug is on the login. So you need to test only in the login scenarios. You should not test transfer funds or view account details. Regression testing also like around the bug fix, not all the test cases. Very, very important question. Compulsorily this question will be asked. What is the difference between retesting and regression testing? Okay. Software testing lifecycle is there that I need to cover. We'll see it in the next session on Monday. Okay. Very, very important concepts. SDLC, test case template, defect template, severity, priority, defect lifecycle. Then what else we discussed? Functional testing, security testing, performance testing. What all we covered? Severities, priorities, test scenarios, test case template, software development lifecycle, phases, who is working in each phase. That's it. And the 2 sessions, all of you can upload your resume as a tester. We'll upload that resume and then some networking concepts we'll put. We'll try for the jobs from Wednesday. Okay. But all of you should revise the PDF documents, whatever I'm sharing in that. Okay. Every day I'll take mock interview to everyone. We are around 6 people are there staff. So individually mock interviews will take some people on the screen. If you are online, we will enable the video. Mock interview will take. That's how you guys can get the job. Fine. Okay, guys. Thank you so much. We'll catch up again on Monday. Today Java class is there. Of course, it will be there. Let's see.